Over 68 million Americans are seeing changes to their Social Security benefits this October, but not everyone will get the same raise. The new cost of living adjustment, triggered by third-quarter inflation data, is more moderate than the sharp increases of 2022 and 2023, yet still notable. Who qualifies for the full benefit depends on complex eligibility rules that take into account benefit type, age, and work history. Retirement, disability, survivor, and SSI recipients are all affected differently, and provisions like the windfall elimination and government pension offset can significantly reduce the amount.
Backhand index pointing right. If this information helped you, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're always one step ahead. We break down important updates like this clearly so you're never caught off guard. Join our community, stay informed, and take control of your financial future, starting today. Flexed Biceps Calendar.
For many, understanding why their payment changed, or didn't, requires looking beyond the headline number. The raise itself is tied to each recipient's primary insurance amount, based on their 35 highest earning years. Those with incomplete work histories may see smaller increases, even with the same COLA percentage applied. Payment timing is another variable. The month and week when someone first claimed benefits determines their batch, which can lead to delays of up to several weeks. Medicare premiums also play a quiet but powerful role, reducing net payments for many, especially those with higher incomes or premium penalties. While no action is required to receive the increase, the Social Security Administration continues to warn about scams targeting beneficiaries with false verification requests and threats. The October 2025 Social Security raise is here, and for over 68 million Americans, that means changes are coming to your monthly benefits. Whether you're retired, disabled, receiving survivor benefits, or getting SSI. This isn't just a small adjustment. It's the result of this year's cost of living adjustment, or COLA, based on third-quarter inflation data. And while it's not as steep as the eye-popping increases from 2022 or 2023, it's still higher than usual. And it matters. Let's get one thing straight from the start. You don't need to do anything to get this increase. That's right, there are no forms, no applications, no phone calls. It's automatic. If you qualify, the new amount will be calculated and applied to your benefits without you lifting a finger. But that doesn't mean everyone sees the same thing. The size of your raise depends on several factors: your work history, your age, the type of benefit you receive, and whether any special provisions like the windfall elimination or the government pension offset apply to you. Now, the number one question on everyone's mind: who qualifies? If you're already receiving Social Security retirement, survivor, disability, or SSI benefits, you're eligible for the raise. But not all raises are equal. Your specific increase depends on your primary insurance amount, or PIA. That number is calculated from your highest 35 years of earnings. If you don't have a full 35-year work history, your average will be lower, which means your raise might be smaller in dollar terms, even though the percentage increase is the same for everyone. Bottom line: more earnings equals higher base equals higher raise. Still, even if you don't have a long work history, you're not left behind. The COLA is designed to help all beneficiaries keep up with inflation. It just won't look the same on every check. Timing also matters. Your raise kicks in according to your payment schedule, which is determined by your original claim date and Social Security's batch processing system. Some will see the increase earlier than others. For some people, it might be just a few days delay. For others, it could take a few weeks for the updated payment to show up in your bank account. And if you still receive a paper check, you may want to consider switching to direct deposit. Not only is it faster, it's safer, and the Social Security Administration, SSA, strongly recommends it. Let's talk Medicare premiums, because this is where things can get a little disappointing. If you're on Medicare, especially Part B, your premium is deducted directly from your Social Security check. That means even if your gross benefit goes up, the amount that lands in your account could be smaller than expected, especially for high earners or those who pay extra due to income-related monthly adjustment amounts, IRMAA. The hold harmless provision does offer some protection here. It ensures that your benefit can't go down because of rising premiums. But that doesn't mean everyone is protected. If you're newly enrolled in Medicare, Or if your premium increase is more than your COLA, you could still see a hit to your net benefit. So while the raise is real, the amount you actually see might not feel like a windfall. Now, some of you will see even less, thanks to certain provisions that apply to people with non-covered employment or government pensions. If you're impacted by the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, or the Government Pension Offset, GPO, your benefits may be reduced, and that includes your COLA adjustment. These provisions are designed to prevent double-dipping into government and Social Security benefits, but for many, they're a frustrating and confusing barrier that cuts into expected increases. It's also important to understand how age and benefit type influence what you'll get. For example, if you just started receiving benefits this year, or if you're about to hit a key age milestone like turning 70, your calculation might differ slightly. People receiving disability benefits might also see different changes than retirees, depending on the structure of their benefits. But here's what's non-negotiable. The process is automatic. That means you never have to pay a fee, verify your identity by phone, or click a suspicious link to unlock your new payment. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying. Scammers are out in full force whenever there's a change to Social Security benefits, and the SSA is warning everyone. Don't take the bait. They will never ask for payment, demand sensitive information, or threaten legal action over your COLA adjustment. If you receive a call, email, or text asking for personal information or payment in exchange for your benefit update, hang up, delete it, report it. The SSA has made it clear. No action is required, and any communication asking you to verify your increase is almost certainly a scam. So let's quickly recap what matters most. If you're receiving retirement, survivor, disability, or SSI benefits, you're eligible for the COLA raise. The raise is based on inflation data and calculated using your highest 35 years of earnings. The percentage increase is the same across the board, but the dollar amount varies based on your unique work history. Medicare premiums are deducted from your benefit, possibly reducing the net increase you'll see. Payment timing depends on when you first claimed your benefits and your scheduled processing batch. Direct deposit is the safest, fastest way to receive your updated payment. Special provisions like WEP and GPO can reduce the size of your COLA increase. The raise is applied automatically. No forms, no calls, no action needed. Scams are rampant. Never share your personal information or send payment to access your COLA. This is a moment to pay attention. Not because you need to do anything, but because you need to stay informed. Knowing your eligibility, understanding how your benefit is calculated, and being aware of deductions like Medicare premiums can help you plan your finances more accurately. It's also the best way to spot fraud and protect your benefits. And don't forget, if you have questions about your personal situation, whether it's how much your increase will be, when your payment is coming, or whether certain provisions apply to you, contact the Social Security Administration directly. Their official website and phone numbers are the only reliable sources for individual account information. We're talking about benefits that you've earned. Benefits that help you pay rent, buy groceries, cover medications, and support your family. You have a right to clarity, and the SSA owes you transparency. But scammers, they don't care about your retirement, they care about your wallet. So stay sharp, stay alert, and don't fall for fake promises or threats. If this video helped clarify things for you, don't forget to like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe so you never miss an important update on your benefits. We break down what matters with no fluff, no filler, and no nonsense. And again, if you're unsure about anything we covered, always reach out to the SSA directly. Stay safe, stay informed, and take care of your benefits. Let's dive deeper into the reality behind this year's Social Security raise, and why it really matters to millions of Americans watching every penny. For many beneficiaries, especially seniors living on a fixed income, this isn't just a bureaucratic update. It's a lifeline. When inflation creeps up at the gas pump, in the grocery aisles, at the pharmacy, or on utility bills, your monthly Social Security check doesn't stretch as far. That's what the COLA is supposed to fix. It's the government's way of saying, we see prices rising, so we'll adjust your benefits to keep up. Sounds simple. But the truth is, it's complicated. The 2025 raise, calculated from inflation data in the third quarter of the year, is higher than normal, but not nearly as aggressive as the spikes we saw during the post-pandemic inflation surge in 2022 and 2023. Back then, COLA increases were eye-popping, over 5%, even 8%, as the cost of everything skyrocketed. This year's bump, it reflects inflation that's still uncomfortably high but not catastrophic. Still, it's enough to make a difference for some and barely a dent for others, especially once Medicare deductions hit. Here's something many don't realize. The percentage increase applies to your gross benefit, not what actually ends up in your account. If you're paying $174.70 for Medicare Part B each month, or more, depending on income brackets, that amount comes off the top before you see the raise. So while your gross benefit may increase by $70, your actual deposit might go up by just $35. For some, even less. And if you're one of the unlucky Americans subject to the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, IRMAA, your premiums could be far higher, and your raise could feel like it evaporated the second it arrived. That's not to mention the people affected by benefit reduction provisions. Take the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP. This rule affects people who work jobs not covered by Social Security, like teachers or certain public employees, who also qualified for Social Security benefits from other work. The WEP reduces the Social Security benefit to prevent what the SSA calls overpayment. But what does that mean in real life? It means your COLA bump gets clawed back, reduced, trimmed down. Same with the Government Pension Offset, GPO, which hits surviving spouses and widows/widowers particularly hard. These rules affect thousands, and they mean that not all COLA increases are created equal. Then there's eligibility timing. Maybe you just started receiving benefits in 2025. Maybe you turned 62 and finally filed for early retirement. You'll still get a raise, but not based on the same calculation as someone who's been receiving benefits for years. Your increase is prorated, or it could be based on a slightly different formula, depending on the month you started. If your birthday's in the wrong week of the month, your payment might arrive weeks after your neighbors, even if you're both retired teachers from the same town. And speaking of delays, let's talk about the payment schedule mess. The SSA operates on a staggered payment system based on your date of birth and the date you started claiming benefits. So, for example, if you began receiving retirement benefits before May 1997, you typically get your payment on the 3rd of each month. But if you started after that, your payment depends on whether your birthday falls in the first, second, or third 10 days of the month. Sound confusing? That's because it is. And when COLA adjustments are made, this already complex system becomes even more opaque. You might hear from a friend that their check went up, but yours didn't. That leads to confusion, anxiety, even fear. But remember, batch processing and staggered payments mean some people just get their updates later. Doesn't mean your raise didn't go through. And we can't say this enough. Direct deposit is your best friend. Not only do you get paid faster, but you avoid the risk of check theft, loss, or delivery delays, especially with postal slowdowns happening all over the country. The SSA itself strongly urges everyone to use direct deposit, not just for speed, but for security. Now let's turn to a problem that shouldn't exist, but absolutely does. Scams. Every single year, when COLA announcements come out, scam artists come crawling out of the woodwork. They call pretending to be from Social Security. They email with fake links, or send text messages warning that your benefits will be cut off unless you verify your identity. It's all fake. All of it. Here's the truth. The SSA will never threaten you. They will never ask you to send money to unlock your COLA. They will not call and demand a bank routing number or a gift card or your full Social Security number. Anyone who does that is trying to steal from you. If you get a call like that, hang up. If you get an email or a text, delete it, and report it immediately through the SSA's fraud reporting system. There are millions of seniors targeted every year, and many of them lose thousands of dollars because these scams look official. They're not. So again, you do not need to do anything to receive your 2025 COLA. There's no sign-up, no activation. If you're eligible, your payment will increase automatically. The SSA handles it behind the scenes. If someone tells you otherwise, they are lying. Period. Let's be honest, the system is complex, and for many people it feels like a black box. You work for decades, pay into the system, and when it's finally your turn, you expect a little clarity. But between complex formulas, staggered payment schedules, deductions for Medicare, and obscure provisions like WEP and GPO, it can feel like the deck is stacked against you. That's why understanding how this raise works is crucial. It empowers you to know what to expect, and just as importantly, what not to believe when bad actors try to mislead you. Social Security is one of the most important government programs in existence. For many, it's the only thing standing between them and poverty. These COLA updates aren't a luxury. They're survival. So what can you do? First, check your Social Security statement through your secure online SSA account. It will show your current benefit and any adjustments, including the new COLA amount. Second, if you see a discrepancy or delay, be patient, especially if you're in a later payment batch. Processing takes time. Third, if you're unsure about your Medicare deductions or IRMAA status, contact Medicare or SSA directly for clarification. They can walk you through your specific case. Fourth, and we'll say it again, watch for scams. Be skeptical of anything that asks for payment or sensitive information. The real SSA doesn't operate that way. And finally, stay informed. The SSA posts regular updates on their official website. You can also subscribe to newsletters or set up alerts in your online account to stay in the loop. Don't rely on rumors, chain emails, or Facebook posts. This 2025 Social Security raise is important, and for millions of Americans, it's a small but meaningful buffer against rising costs. Is it perfect? No. But it's real. It's automatic. And it's yours if you qualify. For millions of Americans counting on Social Security every single month, the October 2025 raise isn't just a headline. It's personal. It's the difference between filling a prescription or skipping it. Between keeping the heat on this winter or rationing electricity. Between eating nutritious meals or stretching canned soup. That's the reality, and it's why every dollar, every cent in this cost of living adjustment matters. But here's what's even more frustrating. Too many people don't fully understand how their benefits are calculated, or why their neighbor seems to get a bigger raise than they do. Let's make it plain. Social Security uses what's called your primary insurance amount, your PIA, to determine your monthly payment. That PIA is based on the average of your highest 35 years of earnings. Not your best year. Not your last job. It's an average. And if you don't have 35 years of work history, they fill in the gaps with zeros. So yes, if you took time off to care for your children, or if you worked in lower-paying jobs early on, or if your income was inconsistent, those zeros bring your average down. And a lower average means a smaller base benefit. And that means a smaller raise even when the COLA is the same percentage for everyone. That's why two people getting Social Security may both get a 3.4% increase, for example. But one sees $120 more per month and the other sees just $35. It's not because the system's targeting anyone. It's because the math is based on history. And for millions of Americans, that history includes low wages, inconsistent employment, and inequality baked into the economy. Now, for people on SSI, supplemental security income, the situation is even more fragile. These are folks with little to no work history who are often elderly, disabled, or both. They rely on the absolute minimum. And even with the COLA increase, many SSI recipients are still below the poverty line. The increase helps, but let's not kid ourselves. It's not lifting anyone into luxury. It's plugging holes in a sinking ship. Survival, not progress. And then there's disability benefits, another group deeply affected. People receiving SSDI face their own challenges. They're often younger than retirees, unable to work, and already living on restricted incomes. The COLA helps stabilize them. But again, when Medicare premiums and other deductions eat away at the increase, the gains are modest at best. Worse still, many SSDI recipients find that when their benefits rise, just barely, it can disqualify them from other programs. SNAP, housing vouchers, Medicaid. One extra dollar in Social Security income can push them over the eligibility line, costing them hundreds in support services. So a raise that sounds good on paper can become a financial trap in practice. That's not just unfair, it's cruel. And it's one more reason beneficiaries need clear, accurate information, not bureaucratic doublespeak. So let's repeat the facts that matter most. You do not need to apply for this raise. You do not need to call anyone to activate it. You do not need to verify your identity, pay a fee, or click any links. If anyone tells you otherwise, they are running a scam. Full stop. The Social Security Administration is not going to call you at home and ask for your Social Security number or bank account. They don't operate that way. Real communications come by mail, or through your secure SSA online account. No threats, no demands, no act now or lose everything language. And if you're still receiving a paper check, you're playing a risky game. Postal delays, lost mail. All of that is real. Switching to direct deposit is not only faster, it's safer. This isn't about convenience. It's about making sure you actually receive the benefits you've earned, without relying on a system that's already stretched thin. Also, if you're dealing with delayed payments or confusion about your raise, don't rely on hearsay or rumors. Your cousin's Facebook post is not an official source. The only way to get accurate personal information about your benefits is to contact the SSA directly. Go through official channels. Use your online account, or call their verified numbers. Don't leave something this important to chance. Too many Americans are left in the dark when it comes to Social Security. The system is intentionally complex. But that doesn't mean you can't take control. Understand your payment. Know your deductions. Look up how Medicare premiums impact your bottom line. And if you're affected by things like the windfall elimination provision or government pension offset, learn how those rules affect your raise before you're surprised by a lower check. This raise matters. It reflects your lifetime of work, your contributions, your sacrifice. It's not a gift. It's not welfare. It's not a handout. It's what you've earned. And no scammer, no glitch, no bureaucratic roadblock should stand between you and what's rightfully yours. If this breakdown gave you the clarity you need, share it with someone else who relies on Social Security. Like the video. Subscribe for more updates that cut through the confusion. And most importantly, when in doubt, always contact the Social Security Administration directly. They're the only ones who can give you information about your specific account. Don't trust your benefits to anyone else. Stay alert, stay informed, and make sure your benefits work for you.